Could you kindly explain the meaning of all of this?
Well, sure. I'm from Megaforce. My name's Dallas.
Dallas? What's your rank?
Rank? Well, ain't nobody got a rank in Megaforce except the commander, but we all call him Hunter.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Brittany and Eric.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sick today. Welcome to Second Class Cinema, where Eric gets a terminal disease and immediately dies.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's why I sound a little funny today.
Oh, that's okay. You'll feel better.
Thank you.
Someday. So today's a bit of a special episode for us. We took a submission pick. We're going to take a few more submission picks from a lovely community called Bad Movie Sunday.
Yeah.
You can find them on Twitter at Bad Movie Sunday, the number 1, or you can find them on Facebook, Bad Movie Sunday. And they recommended that we watch this movie.
Thanks for the recommendation, guys.
And so thanks a lot.
What was the movie, Tarm?
Did I not say the name of the movie yet?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Well, the name of the movie is Megaforce from 1982. And we initially bought this movie at Wild Time Comics up the road. And then it kind of sat on our shelf for a little bit. And then it was recommended to us by Bad Movie Sunday. And
we said perfect.
I was like, great. I already have that one. But that's the one we're going to start with.
What better form of validation?
Yes, exactly. So what was this movie about?
All right, I guess I'll give this a stab.
Oh, yes. Thank God.
Everyone's just
God, it's not
waiting for me to say, I understood this movie.
Thank God.
All right, so from the best I can gather, there is a international military, like paramilitary force, sort of like a G.I. Joe Rainbow Six type thing going on called Megaforce, who is led by an intrepid Barry Gibb-looking guy named Hunter.
Barry Bostwick.
Yes, Barry Bostwick. A different Barry, but I insist that he is one of the Bee Gees. And we'll get into that because this movie refuses to let go of the 70s. In fact, it admitted to it right after we called it on it.
I know, that was weird.
But he leads this paramilitary force of international commandos who have voluntarily signed up for this. They have access to all sorts of high-tech weaponry and vehicles, and they have a base, like most paramilitary forces do.
Yeah.
They're contacted by another country looking to shut down a fictional country by the name of Gambia's, like some sort of military depot. They want to blow it up and prevent them from like intruding upon their border or something.
Okay.
Megaforce dutifully completes the job, but as it turns out, they did it too well, and it's considered an act of war now. So the host country of the Megaforce leaves them stranded behind the border, and it's their job to escape.
Okay. That's a pretty good wrap-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
It's very packaged.
Yeah, we vaguely understood because they told us exactly what the Megaforce was in the beginning of the movie, but they didn't tell us quite what they were in store for.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of that lacking.
And it felt like people kept switching allegiances a little bit, I feel like, which made it a little hard to understand.
Okay. All right. I'd like to say one thing before we get going.
Yeah.
You can agree or disagree. I wished I had all the action figures and vehicles that this movie should have marketed. I wish I had them all.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
That would have been a lot of fun to play with as a child.
Tons of toys.
I was actually wondering about the timing of a lot of things surrounding this movie because this was 1982.
1983.
And we did some research like while the movie was playing, which should tell you how entranced this movie we were. And we had realized a lot of the things that feel like this movie, like G.I. Joe and the A-Team, and even like ancillary stuff like Delta Force and
Death Raiders,
Laser Mission. Like we were just throwing everything out there. We're like, this can't be the first version of this. And like we couldn't think of anything that predated this in terms of like being sort of a like sanitized military adventure, that you could show to a kid and they wouldn't be scandalized by it.
Yeah.
Just fun kind of toy-like thing. Lasts for an hour and 30 minutes and you can enjoy it with grandma.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because the cover said that Ace Hunter was like a superhero. But this is totally just a militaristic movie.
Listen, the men of the military are the only superheroes you need.
I mean, gold spandex jumpsuit aside, he was not a superhero.
No, he was not.
Well, there's a couple reasons that we can address later as to why he might be a superhero.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
All right, so let's go into successes for the movie, guys. Let's start with those, like we always do.
I have one.
You've got one.
I had two.
You had two.
That
Crossed out
changed.
Now, before we proceed, is this something you've just removed, or did you move it to failures? Because that's happened before.
It's a tangled web I weave over here.
All right.
I will explain why.
Okay.
So my first success,
let's do it.
the main song
Okay.
when the movie opens.
Oh, yep.
It's like synth cheesiness. It was totally awesome. And that's about where it ended. But no, after that I added looks good.
Okay.
And that stayed there for the entire duration of the movie until we sat down in this office, and then I crossed it out and wrote nope. But that's only in light of the second half of the movie.
Yes.
But
I
I didn't move it to negatives because there were actually parts where it looked so bad it was amazing.
All right.
But I still can't count it as a plus.
No, I buy that.
To be fair.
I understand.
If it's square in the middle of the favorite parts section.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a place for them, and it's not here now.
We can address it. So yeah, I will totally agree that opening title sequence and intro music puts you in the right mood.
Yes.
Is a great 80s foreplay for us right before we go into the movie. And I appreciated that. What about you, Eric?
My successes boiled down to two very small things. Great pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Lots of explosions in this movie. I appreciate that because I'm a simple-minded buffoon.
Yes, of course.
And there's good miniature work in this movie, which is a lost art. And whenever I see it done well in an older movie, or even just done competently, it just brings me back to a time where we still had these, and it wasn't all done in CG.
Yep. No, I thought some of the miniature work was fine.
Yeah.
Well, this was also, apparently this was directed by the same guy who did Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit. So this guy comes from directing actual movies, which led to having actual, stars in this movie. So he directed those. So he has to know what he's doing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Could be argued.
Yeah. One could argue that. Anything else, or is that it for successes for you guys?
That's all I've got for successes.
Yeah.
I've got a good success here.
What's your good success?
I think this. If you look at the movie from a certain perspective, this is a great success.
What's your perspective? What's your angle?
And so the perspective will be, exactly what you brought up earlier, which is a clean movie that a kid can watch with their grandma and everyone can have a good time.
Yeah, I think this movie was just made for 9-year-olds.
And that's fine. And not in the bad way either, in the genuine way where I think it was maybe conscious that they were like, okay, well, let's try and cater to a very large audience.
Yeah.
Very, very thoughtful in that way. But I will say that the Megaforce, they are so hospitable and charming.
It's true.
They are the nicest men on the planet.
Yep.
Doing wholesome deeds and not
being charming while they're at it.
and being charming and not letting things get them down. Like they are a tight-knit group of men who support each other.
It's true.
And they're great role models.
It's very true.
Like these
I can't argue with that.
Right? These movies have a tendency to be like with our hero and our woman to be like these
Ambiguous
overtly
morals and
overtly sexual in ways, and this barely touched on that, like enough to where I think a kid would understand, like, oh, they're in love, but like enough for me to understand that they might be in love too.
I actually created my own new category because I hated something so much in this movie.
Well, hold on.
Sorry, being in love just reminded me of it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I guess let's. That's the last success I have, unless anyone wants to piggyback on.
Can I stop real quick? How come Bob Dylan as a kid was watching this movie?
Because he's also a great wholesome man who's friends with other men.
Dallas was my favorite.
Dallas was your favorite. Well, hold on, what are your favorite parts?
Sorry, you were talking about how charming Megaforce is.
Okay, well, is Dallas a success?
Sure.
All right. Fair.
Good job,
What's his
Dallas.
I'll accept it.
Michael Beck.
Michael Beck. Yeah, the guy who played Swan in the Warriors.
Yeah, he's red.
And I don't think there was too much. I mean, I don't recognize him.
He's been in a lot of other stuff, but nothing. I think Warriors is his,
Yeah,
for understandable reasons.
his Swan song.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. I apologize formally for that one. So let's if that's it for successes, let's move on to failures. In which let's do this new burning category that the hatred. What is it? I need to know.
Okay, well, I actually split my favorite parts category into two,
Okay.
and one is the absolute opposite of favorite parts, which means that I hated it with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Well, what is the opposite of favorite?
Indifference, I guess.
I don't think it goes far enough. But anyway,
Loathsome.
There
Yeah.
you go.
When fucking Ace and that lady would kiss their thumbs and then do a thumbs up to each other, it made me want to rip my fucking face off. I hated it so much.
really?
I actually, look, I made a new category and I put like the little no smoking sign with like circle and dash through it. Fucking thumb kiss.
So you want to ban this?
No thumb cussing in public.
Oh God, I hated
You'll get
it. I
cooties.
hated it so much.
I figured. See, you know what? I don't think I hated it so much because that's a safe thing for a kid to do to another kid.
Why are you obsessed with this being kid friendly?
Because it is, and it did a really good job at it.
Because you don't want kids watching Megaforce and then they go send and start fingering each other.
It's true. You don't want them
Just let them give the thumb.
You don't want them thinking they can kiss with their tongues.
Yeah, you don't want them to like never too young to die, and they're eating all these apples on you.
No, but on a serious note, this movie was so convoluted.
Yeah.
We had to pause it at one point. I was like,
I remember the scene that we paused it on.
they're just like haul-assing through the desert, and I'm like, so.
All right, pause the movie.
Let's do a quick catch up.
Yeah, I feel like everything was inconsequential. Like when you were saying that you thought the explosives and everything were a plus, I thought that, but then at the same time, it felt like everything they were blowing up, like nothing was really happening to it.
It didn't exist.
No, like nothing was like glorified about the actual war part.
I think that's because this is a clean movie,
Punch you right through the head.
and they don't want to promote violence, so it's
It was really snoozeworthy.
Yeah.
It made everything feel like inconsequential and like incomplete in a weird way.
okay.
I feel like that also had a lot of secondary characters, which made it hard to keep track of who people were for a little while.
Well, on top of that, they went into too many secondary characters on the bad guys side of things. Where I don't mind if they did it to the Megaforce because that's great. I mean, we can all enjoy it. We can all enjoy a good force, right?
Yeah,
You know, like Counterforce, Death Force,
Death
all
Force.
winning
Delta
movies.
Force.
Delta Force, all these forces of teams and stuff. Those are great,
Yeah,
but too much. Like for no, and we say this a lot. This comes up a lot. This is, I think, one of the biggest failures a movie can have is like the convoluted plot.
yeah.
Like even slightly, because you're like, ugh.
Because a movie like this doesn't need to be complicated.
Exactly. Or is something like that happens is what puts this movie into this category.
I was very confused at the part where they were like, okay, here's Gurerra, and then the general guy was just like, oh, he's going to kill you, and then didn't do anything about it, and then seemingly turned his back on Megaforce, but then didn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... So, I mean, his deal was, I guess he was trying to be, like, politically, like, safe. Like, he didn't want to start an all-out war, so, like, he disavowed the Megaforce.
So he was like the diplomat.
Yeah, he wasn't really a bad guy, but he was just... Yeah, he was more of just, like, a... what's the word? He's like red tape guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole like triangle of events felt very non-committal, and I feel like that just contributed to the convolutedness of it.
Well, I feel like the reason they're doing this isn't like a big deal.
Yeah, I don't exactly get why Gurerra is such a bad guy.
Well, so here's another thing that is going to go. I mean, I don't know if it's success or failure, really, but it goes on the side of this movie being so fucking clean. Is that all right? So this is our main bad guy, the evil one that they are trying to stop. You know what his last line in the movie is? You know what it is?
What was it? I can't remember.
I'll see you another time. Like
You say like my friend or something.
like he's pleasant and he's happy the Megaforce won.
Yeah, because Ace and Gurerra were like BFFs. or
Yeah, they go like
something
way
back.
back.
In the day.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So that's a weird relationship.
Really weird.
Like I don't know if because there wasn't. I mean, the mutual respect was there, which I think is fine for a good guy and a bad guy to have.
That's like straight up Commando.
Yeah,
You got John Matrix and Bennett.
exactly.
They have mutual respect for each other.
But they hated each other.
Yes.
These men never hated each other at any point in time. We even thought that the final gag was going to be exploding cigar. It was just a regular cigar that he enjoyed. That's not how you punish a bad guy, by giving him gifts.
You throw a cigar at him and you're like, oh, the war's over. See you later, pal.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll see you another time.
I mean, if anything, the Weasley diplomat that was just doing his job got more of a punishment because they blew up his entire personal airplane.
They did.
Yeah,
They all-
that's terrible.
They all cheered afterwards. The guy who paid their check, the guy who signs their check, they blew up his airplane like, yay! The bad guy's like, here's a nice parting gift.
Thanks for the cigar.
Catch you later,
Ace.
Gurerra.
See you at the next Megaforce.
So, I mean, that's, I guess, so I actually had that in my failures column, but since I started going and proving the case for the other direction, I am going to put that in successes.
What, that the bad guy was not that bad?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's this perspective of the movie I'm trying to view this from.
I'll
If it
allow
works.
it.
No, it's fair enough. If this was Kids Month, we'd have a much different angle on it, I think.
I totally agree.
The costumes in this movie were terrible.
Terribly amazing.
Half of my failures
no.
are fashion related.
Everything that Barry Bostwick wore was a spandex jumpsuit. So tight. So tight. So
He
tight.
looked like Dayman in half of the shots that he was in.
He really did.
Yeah, he was sporting that vibe.
Yeah, Megaforce outfits were just like gold jumpsuits with headbands. Weak.
Or silver jumpsuits.
So weak. So weak.
And like their official like military academy outfit was like this weird blue blazer, but it had a giant red lapel.
Yeah.
That looked like that they were tucking a napkin into their shirts and it get spaghetti sauce on it.
Yeah, I feel like waiters wear those weird shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did appreciate all of the nice little lavender touches that Hunter, our captain, had.
I didn't appreciate it at all.
So he
Ace
had,
Hunter.
he had a nice little lavender headband.
Was
that
it
he would wear.
lavender? I thought it was white.
It looked like baby blue, but then some shots it looked like a little purple.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been some pastel.
So yeah, it was definitely on that spectrum of color. But then when he wasn't wearing the headband and he was wearing that like suit, he had a nice little like lavender like nice undershirt underneath it. I'm like, yes, yes.
God, I should be concerned about you.
No, don't be concerned.
There's a time and place for lavender. It's not in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Megaforce.
I feel like Barry Bostwick was like a hot dad in this movie, but like not like I think he is hot. Like moms of 1983 thought he was so hot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like he might be the single dad on the block, and then all of the women would bake him pies.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
He was like really like he would hit the disco floors like back in '75. And he would like
yeah.
really tear it up. Now he's kind of an older guy. Doesn't really do that anymore, but he's still got the bod.
But yeah, and he's got the
Super lanky and
yeah, carries
tall.
himself.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm talking
something
about.
like
Bet you he roller skated dance.
just so corny about Barry Bostwick. He carries it in every role. It must just be him. I feel like he has the utmost confidence in everything he ever does in like the cheesiest way possible.
Yeah,
And this for sure. Yeah, I agree.
for sure. He was pulling some great faces, like great faces,
So out of place.
great comedy faces.
So weird.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie was marketed as something that it was not.
What marketing did you get for this movie? Like
I thought it was going to be like a Delta Force, like action
romp?
gazelle.
Whoa, you thought this was gonna be Mike Danton status?
Oh, we're not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah, no chance. Here.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a straight action movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from the cover too.
I didn't realize it was going to be so juvenile.
It was, but but not in the bad way. Not in a I attempted to do something and failed, and so it's juvenile. I feel like it was just a clean script.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if this was supposed to be a kids movie on paper.
Right. Like Counterforce, I think, is a good example of we tried to make something cool and
Yeah.
we failed and made it juvenile.
Yes,
That is a good example of that.
I can buy that.
Yeah.
Another beef I had was that Ace never did anything cool.
I beg to differ.
He did like one cool thing.
He did.
What did he do?
I don't know. He
Exactly.
he kissed his thumb
No, that was fucking awful.
and he pointed it at her. He would do like cool spin moves onto the airplane.
Yeah.
I have more to say about that during ratings.
Okay.
He threw a grenade in midair while on a motorcycle. That was pretty sweet.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And, you know, he did one other thing that we have to say for favorite parts.
Absolutely, obviously.
And that's about it.
No, he was cool. I mean, he spent so much of this movie on like a dirt bike with rockets on it. How can you not be cool?
I think we have to address the fact that this movie so clearly wants it to be the 70s still.
Oh,
where
yeah.
a guy like him may be able to succeed and be like a leading character and really carry a movie. But the movie actually weirdly called this out like after we had identified that this movie is trying so hard to like make a movie in the 80s but still hold on to something of the 70s, like that 70s style movie making.
It was so
Yeah.
weird.
And like Duke and
Gurerra?
Duke Gurerra and Hunter are having
yeah.
a conversation at one point, and Duke is like talking to him and like, "Oh, you were the best. You're still the best." But you know that held up in the 70s, and you know you can't like that just doesn't work anymore. And I was like, this movie.
Oh, he
kinda
was like,
just,
bad guy, good guys always win.
Yeah, later on,
Even in
yeah,
the 80s.
even in the 80s, yeah, that was his comeback to that, and it really felt like this was just a dated version of something that would become extremely popular, like literally the year after this came out, and it felt really weird.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely felt like it was grasping at trying to be appreciative of the time, but still not embracing it entirely.
Yeah.
And then, like, we said that, and then all these things happened in the dialogue, and we're like, wow, okay. So this just physically manifested itself.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But then I think this also relates pretty tightly to what was the Visitor that we had watched for the last episode?
Yes, yes.
You had mentioned something about how like in the 70s people weren't quite sure what to let go of in movie making. And I felt like this is just like the final example of that. Like this is the last time anyone had a problem trying to figure out what to let go. And then like after that everyone was just like, all right, we know how to make movies now. Like
Oh my God. The day after this movie wrapped on shooting, they were like, we figured it out. we got it.
yeah, and then like G.I. Joe became popular and the A-Team came out and fucking everything went fucking haywire.
Everything went ballistic.
Yeah. Ballistic X versus Sever. That's when they forgot how to make movies.
That's
again.
when they forgot. Yeah.
And then they forgot for like 15 years.
Then we had to relearn.
John Wick came out and then they remembered.
Good. So we're on the upside here. Any other failures before we move on to favorite parts?
We did kind of touch upon this, but I feel like every prop in this movie looks like it came out of a Lego set. Like there are literal like missiles on top of like Humvees that are just like painted yellow and they look like Nerf darts.
Yeah.
And they really look like just you would click a button on the G.I. Joe and it like would just fire it off and hit your cat in the face and your mom would yell at you and you get grounded for a week.
This is Lego and Nerf production design.
Oh, yeah.
But do you think that adds to the accessibility that a child would have?
It does. I don't like it as an adult, but if this was meant for children, I think it's pretty spot on.
I'm not sure it was meant
Yeah.
for children. I figured in the back of their minds, they're like, I want everyone to watch this. I don't want anyone to shy away from this. Like it's supposed to be culturally diverse within the Megaforce. So they're trying to play it safe around every single corner.
Yeah, what were some of the insults we heard in this movie?
Wiseacre.
Yeah, no swearing.
No, none, barely any.
Wiseacre.
I think the dirtiest movie, the dirtiest this movie got, the one guy made a very subtle joke about calling up another guy's wife. I think that's like the hardest this movie ever felt. I do have one last negative.
Okay.
And this is going to call attention to the fact that this is a movie from 1982. And as a visitor from hello, it's 2016.
Hi.
I usually expect my movies to only be like 95% misogynist, and this one was about 99. They spent like 30 minutes raising like this lady commander character, Zara. She's like an awesome like military general person, and like they go through the trouble of like showing that she's capable of joining the Megaforce and participating in the raid, and then they just say, no, you can't come with us anyway, and then she just gets dumped on the ground. And they just later sync up with her as a love interest. I'm like, that was a waste of goddamn time.
Yeah.
That you couldn't even just let her join you on the mission.
It was so
Like-
stupid.
Yeah,
Why did you waste our time?
He even came up with a bogus excuse.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to distract us later.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
It felt very of the time, and I was disappointed. And I wasn't expecting that to happen because I'm used to watching movies now where they would have at least let them join. even if
yeah.
it was like phoned in.
Yeah. Say, and oddly enough, even a movie like Guns
Yeah,
is
that's weird. Yeah,
is less offensive in a way
yeah,
in its
somehow.
execution. But not like I'm actually offended with this movie at all.
No, I mean it's of the
Clean.
time. I can understand.
Yeah, it did what it did. So favorite parts, guys? What do we got?
Well, I know what mine is.
All right, Eric, just go ahead and go for it.
Well, near the end of the movie, everyone is everyone in the Megaforce is gathering at the extraction point towards a transport plane where all the motorcycles are being loaded in, all the men are being loaded up. Hunter falls off of his motorcycle because he's a putz.
Oh, yeah.
And he needs to come up with a way to catch up to the plane after, resituating himself. He gets on his motorcycle, flips a couple switches, wings come out, and all of us say, "Oh yeah!"
Oh my God, the
my God, yes.
anticipation.
What's going to happen is going to be great.
Swelled.
This scene goes for a good 2 or 3 minutes. He revs the engine. The people in the plane are like going, "Oh man, Hunter, he's gonna make it!" And he starts like doing a wheelie, and then all of a sudden, just the most awesome rear projection I've ever seen in my life of him taking off on a motorcycle and just like directly at the camera. He's so excited. His feathered, beautiful hair is just waving in the wind. And like he just slowly touches down inside the transport, just flying, beautiful, majestic motorcycle in the air. It was the most wonderful thing I've seen in my life.
And amazing.
Do you know what that scene reminded me of?
What?
You know the very end of Pee-wee's Playhouse when he rides the scooter?
I haven't seen that
Out.
movie in 20 years, and I thought in my head, this reminds me of Pee-wee. I don't know why.
It's the end of Pee-wee's Playhouse. He just jumps on his scooter at the end of each episode and just launches himself and he's just like riding his scooter where the credits are rolling. It's the best song I've ever heard is playing during this. And it looks exactly like that, only Pee-wee's is supposed to be very clearly intentionally funny.
Yes.
This I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be awesome, but it was just hilarious.
I think it was
in its ineptitude.
I do think it was supposed to be comedic. I do, because the looks on his faces, on his one face, the look he was making and like how wacky it kind of was. You're definitely supposed to enjoy that and go for the
reaction
comedy.
shots from Gurerra, definitely.
Yes,
He was just like, what the fuck? Which was, and I was like, what the fuck?
but the execution, woof.
Anytime they used like that bad like green screen or blue screen or whatever,
it was
however
rear
the
projection.
fuck they do that.
Yeah. It was the last time they ever used rear projection in filmmaking.
It had to have been.
Is that what did they use in the skydiving scene? Because that was also one of my favorite parts, and it also had terrible
Oh my God.
terrible effects, and I loved it.
That was definitely rear projection where she was upside down like a capsized turtle
Yeah, just like kicking feebly,
in the sky while they connected, but there was actual like skydiving footage too.
like intercut.
Yeah, that was disastrous,
That was masterful.
but well enjoyed.
Yeah, my last favorite part is when they were riding their motorcycles across the desert, and they all had like smoke clouds coming from them, and they were all
yeah.
different colors. I thought that was pretty sweet.
That was a really cool shot.
Inspired.
Yeah.
I will say that just overall, I know you said this looks Lego-esque, but the bike artillery and all that stuff, I loved. I thought that was very cool.
Some of it worked. The stuff that worked, it looked straight out of like 60s James Bond. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a favorite part. It's not a success, right? And like all the dune buggies, like once again, for kids, they love dune buggies. They do.
You know, I say one thing to myself: what do kids love, Eric? I got it. Dune buggies.
First thing that comes to mind, dune buggies.
Yeah.
And I want to know quickly, and this has nothing to do with this movie, what other kinds of buggies are there?
Punch buggy.
Okay.
Horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy. I understand, but like, what other like,
Are you sure?
what other like buggies are on like a terrain? I don't know, like a dune buggy is so specific.
Herbie the Love Buggy.
I don't think that's it.
Come on, you never heard of that?
I will consider my question
Guys.
answered though.
Guys, love buggy.
That's right, love buggy. Of course. How could I have forgotten?
Stupid.
Any other favorite parts before we finally rate?
If there are no favorite parts, I do have one question.
Oh, question. All right.
Phantoms.
My one question: did this movie have a shrinking ray? Because I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, what the fuck?
So
Yes.
there's a scene where three enemy combatants are setting up like a mortar or something, and like the scientist of the group, like the Q of the Megaforce, is sitting by in like a station, and he points like a device at them, and all of a sudden we hear like that little squeaky like squirrel voice, and the military guys are gone. So am I led to believe that there was a shrinking ray? Because I think there was, but I don't know.
I think that's the path they led us down.
That's really cruel.
That's crueler than, I mean, that's got to be against the Geneva Convention.
Just shrinking
Just
someone
shrink
and
a
leaving
dude
them out in the desert.
so they can get eaten by an ant. That's
like,
horrifying.
That's rule 1. Yeah, they're in the desert. Imagine all the scorpions and lizards and stuff.
Oh, dude, you would get fucked.
Scavenger birds.
Oh, yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Dude, even like just those fucking giant grains of sand pelting you,
Oh, yeah.
that would flay you alive.
Yeah.
These guys deserve, you know what? These guys deserve to be held up for charges of war crimes. You know what? This is not a clean movie. I do not respect what this depicts of the Megaforce.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think this movie bred any sociopaths unless they really lingered on this one part.
They really tried to put all their stock in holographs.
Oh my god, what was
movie.
the holographs?
Holographs are
I
so
just realized
cool.
we forgot to talk about that. I hated that they called them holographs.
Why?
I don't know. Hologram or
for
bust.
hologram.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. These could be holograph because I don't know. They're videos.
I did notice that they only had 2 holographs to present to us.
Yeah.
One of which was a rock. And one of which was a beach scene with a sexy lady.
Oh, and the sloppy pig.
Oh yeah, that was a sloppy pig, yeah. Who Dallas thought was hysterical.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a non-copyrighting,
It's like, yeah.
non-copyright infringing Porky Pig who
Porky-
disgusted me.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Well, and I mean, holographs were probably really early in their day. Like, when film first hit, all it was just, images of trains. So, I mean, there's still some time to go for holographs.
Yeah.
Still some time to grow.
So what you're saying is like the third holograph they should have had was a train coming directly at the enemy, so they panic.
Exactly. So then they all run away, and then they could have started a whole new revolution. So it's time to rate. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck yeah!
All right, guys, let's rate Megaforce from 1983. Or 82.
82.
1982.
82.
I have to take you through my thought process
All right, tee us up and then
for rating this.
hit it out.
I was going to give it a very standard, like, fuck off type rating for most of the way through. Until the very end when his motorcycle turned into a little plane. And then I was like, all right, I'm definitely giving this movie a fuck yes. But then, well, a fuck yeah. But then it ended on the fucking kiss thumb freeze frame. And I was like, now I have to give it a fuck you.
Oh my god. Did you really go through all 3 stages of the
Oh my
fuck
God.
scale?
I think I'm going to split the diff and just give it a fucking fine.
I think
Okay.
this is a second class first. I don't think we've ever
It
seen this
was
before.
really... It was tearing me apart, Lisa.
Well, the just the fact that you can go from being a fuck yeah 5 minutes later to being a fuck you,
yeah.
that's huge.
I was like, this rocket bike is so fucking awful. I love it.
I was gonna say, so you hated the thumb kiss more than you loved Rocket Bike?
Well, no. That's why I'm giving it a fucking fine instead of a fuck you.
Oh, so they average out. It's
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah.
It's the same. Okay. So
So I was
fucking
like, this
fine.
whole movie was worth it now just because of that rocket bike and how long it took him. Like, that scene was so long.
Which
It
one?
took him so long to get into the back of that plane.
Oh, but that's okay.
He was flying for like ever.
They could have taken the whole hour and a half to do that scene, and I would have been just as happy.
But I think the best part about it was that the plane was so far away, and when he started going, I was like, yeah, right. He was doing like 45, and then it was like, out come the wings.
There's this one dude on the Megaforce who's like, he's not going to make it. And then everyone else is cheering him on. He's not going to make it. Of course he makes it. That guy's a doofus.
So yeah, I'll give it a fucking fine. Some of it was fun to watch. Some of it was a little boring.
Yeah.
It was like right down the middle, but it was fun enough to warrant a viewing.
Cool. I'm gonna give it a fuck yes. I'm gonna give it a fuck yes. Never did I get to the fuck yeah status ever. I did, however, feel like I was gonna give this movie a fucking fine until the end sequence with the flying bike, in which case I immediately upgraded. I don't want to go all in on it because there's still a lot to get through to get to that moment.
Yeah.
It did have its valleys, Although, if I feel like this is still an enjoyable movie from beginning to end. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to take from it. There's a lot to enjoy. I feel like watching it again, I might notice a couple different things. There's a lot going on, so I give it a fuck yes. Eric, what about you?
I think I'm going to give it a fucking fine.
Okay.
Like you said, the flying bike raised my rating. I was ready to give this a fuck off, and that flying bike just raised it to fucking fine for me.
Wow, that raised all of our.
That is something that you can add to any movie, and it becomes wonderful. But unfortunately, and I noticed this in Counterforce. It seems to be these types of movies, these kind of sanitary military action movies, spend a lot of time just showing military vehicles driving around. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. I don't really have a lot of stake in it, and when you don't see like a lot of enemy like combatants on the field, there's not much interesting going on in the fight scenes, which is kind of unfortunate because that's what I feel like these movies should be predicated on, is some sort of conflict. That said, it presumably succeeded in what it was attempting to do, which I find laudable. It made a sanitary military movie that everyone could enjoy. And I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy this.
I think that's why I had a hard time with it. I think it was a little too sanitized for me. A little too G-rated.
Okay.
I think if we gotten the PG version, I mean, this was a PG movie.
This was PG.
But if this was an actual 82 PG, Airplane is PG.
Yeah, true.
The Temple of Doom is PG.
Yeah,
and those
true.
are much different movies than this.
They could have got the same rating and pushed it a little farther.
Right. But I can understand what they were going for.
Yeah.
Oh, and I almost forgot. The ARF 1990.
Oh, let's address the ARF 1990. Eric, explain to us what that means again.
The arbitrary rating factor 1990.
Mm-hmm.
I pick a thing at the beginning of the movie that I decide I want to see, and if I sees it, it's great. And if I don't, it's terrible.
Okay, so what was this movie's ARF 1990?
Forklifts.
Okay, so you were looking for forklifts?
Looking for forklifts.
Question.
Yes.
Did you find any forklifts?
I don't think I did. There might have been one in one of the hangar scenes, but I was looking pretty close. I didn't see anything. So I'm going to have to go inconclusive on the ARF 1990 today. It is not a factor in our rating.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. So is that it?
That is it for me.
Final thoughts? All right. We watched Megaforce from 1982, and I got to tell you, that flying bike scene really lifted us up.
It lifted us up where we belong.
I was just going to say that. I'm so
wind beneath our
us.
wings.
One could say it's all of those things. So, yeah, thanks to Bad Movie Sunday for recommending or forcing us to watch this movie. You can find them at Bad Movie Sunday 1 on Twitter and Bad Movie Sunday on Facebook. So check them out. They watch a movie, a bad movie, every Sunday, and then they talk about it.
Live tweet?
Yeah, they tweet
Is that
it.
the deal?
Yeah, they post pictures. It's great. They're very funny.
Thanks to Wild Time Comics for selling us.
And thanks to Wild Time Comics for having this for us to buy. If you'd like more information on Second Class Cinema, you can head on to Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. You can listen to us wherever you're listening to us right now. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, secondclasscinema.com, and followingfilms.com.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And rate, subscribe, and enjoy. And good night, or...
Good night.
Good night, everybody. I'm going to bed.
All right, good night.